Right, testing, testing. Streaming, hopefully. Hello. Just going to see if this is working. It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks. In fact, it's so hot. I'm going to put this on. Sorry for the noise. I'm just going to put the fan on. Oh, that's better. That's better. Yeah, haven't done any live streaming for a while. Been on holiday. Been off work for a bit. Been back from work as well. But I wanted to well, I've just been so busy. And you know how life is, especially when you have, family, kids. Um, But yeah, it was great. We didn't go out of the UK. We just went to visit family and stuff. Uh, I think I mentioned on my last stream it was in between. We'd gone to see my stepbrother up in Glasgow, which was great. That was good fun. And then went down to see some family in Norfolk. My auntie lives there, and she has a place where we could stay. And my dad lives nearby there as well. So we were all got together. And my brother, because he lives way, way away. Almost at the bottom part of the country. I'll not say exactly where he's from, but hey, we're almost as far apart as you can possibly be. It takes him hours. He got stuck in traffic as well on the way up, so we all sort of met down in Norfolk, and that was great. It was good for the kids because they could see my brother's kids, the cousins. They could all sort of play and stuff. And we went out one day to a place called Bewilderwood, which is like I don't know if you've been to Bewilderwood, anyone out there, but it's sort of like a little forest walk place, and you've got like the zip lines and just climbing things, stuff for kids. Great place, but the only problem was I like to be organised when I go on holiday, right? So I like to write down all the postcodes of places. So even when I'm driving somewhere, if I know we're going to stop for like food, like after a couple of hours or something, I'll like find somewhere and get the postcode, so I can put it in the sat nav and go, right, okay, we're going there first, we'll stop. Then I can put the next postcode in. We can go. It's just one of my things. I'm a little bit OCD with. I like to plan stuff out when it comes to traveling. So I had all these postcodes written down. My dad's place, my auntie's place, Bewilderwood, and all this kind of stuff. So we go for the trip to Bewilderwood. My brother sets off with his family in their car. We set off about 10 minutes later. Got it in the sat nav, no worries. All nice. I mean, it's little country lanes. A lot of them are around there are the kind of single lanes where you've got passing places where literally there isn't even enough room for two vehicles to pass each other and stuff. So you got to really concentrate on those little lanes just to make sure that it's very different to what I'm used to. Because although I'm kind of a country boy originally, I've lived in the city for a while, so I'm used to having at least a lane each. Although there are some narrow lanes in the city. But anyway, so yeah, going along, just following the sat nav, thinking, yeah, it's all going well. It seemed to take a little bit longer than I thought. I remembered it saying it would take, from looking at the Google Maps and stuff. But I thought, no particular rush. We're just gonna go there and spend sort of part of the day there. So we get there. We get there according to the sat nav, and I think this doesn't seem right. This is just like a little random village, and I don't remember it looking like this because I'd been there before a few years back. I was thinking, this is weird. And then it was just like a little cul-de-sac type road in the village. So I was like, stopped there. And I was like, right, something's clearly wrong here. So I just park up so I can get the phone out and try and find out what's going on. So I check their website again and look at their postcode, and I look at my little bit of paper or what I programmed in, and instead of NR11 or something, I'd put NR12 or vice versa. I did one digit wrong, and I was like, oh yeah, you gotta be kidding me. My wife was like, you're such a doofus. So I put the proper postcode in, and we were still 15 miles away, so I'd taken us the really long way around, but it was alright. I mean, it took us maybe an extra half an hour or so, but that was great. That place was pretty cool. Apart from the wasps, there was way too many wasps. I mean, they had up in the trees, they had these traps. It looked like they had like apple juice in them or something, and then obviously a way for the wasps to get in, but then they can't get out and stuff. But even that wasn't really helping. We were trying to, get the kids to sit down and have some food. No matter which table we went towards, there's just wasps came, and the kids freak out. So we're just moving from table to table, and eventually found a little place, actually like a little indoor hut thing we managed to get into, and there was no wasps there. But it was great. It was good. Just despite me. It's my mistake in not getting there in the first place to start with. Some random village in the middle of Norfolk, and I was like, this ain't right. I'm such an idiot sometimes. But yeah, that was fun. It was roasting hot, red hot at times, which I like. It's unusual for the UK, but yeah, it was good. So there was that, and then we came back here. just for a couple of days, and then we went up to like a haven holiday, a caravan holiday, Haggerston Castle. Really good for the kids. The caravan was decent. I've been to sort of places before where the caravans and maybe not been that great, but this one was like spot on. You know, everything clean and new, great. And it's good for the entertainment, you know, for the kids. You go into the sort of the on the evening, the sort of like the main sort of stage area bit where you got the tables, you sit down and have a drink and that, where the kids watch a show or the music on and stuff. And it's funny because when I was a teenager, I used to take the mickey. I used to live near one of those things, and me and my mate used to take the mickey out of it, and we'd be like, why on earth would people come and have a holiday here? What's all this about? Like, really? Why would you? But now, obviously, I'm 41, and I understand it completely because it's great. It's great for the kids, and you just want to sit down and relax, and just, you know, they can have a bit of entertainment. And one thing that was quite dangerous, which I liked, dangerous in a good way, was they had like an app where if you were sat down in the main sort of entertainment room thing, your table had a number. You could just order like when this certain bar was open, it was like a bar you didn't go up to. You just ordered on your app, and they brought it straight to your table. So that's dangerous for me because I'm just like, ooh, what beers do they have? Oh yes, and the kids like Pringles and stuff. So I was like, yes, add everything: pork scratchings, Pringles, beer. Just order. Just bring it to my table. That was excellent. So I think I spent a small fortune doing that, but it was good fun. So yeah, so that's what we've been doing. Just to change subjects a little bit, I just watched the Formula One before I came up here, just because they obviously had a bit of a break between races, so I wanted to watch that. And words words escape me in terms of trying to describe just how much Ferrari can mess up their strategy decisions. I don't know how they do it. Just when I think, oh, surely they can't make any more daft decisions, or they're doing okay this time, and then they just make a ridiculous decision. I mean, spoiler alert for if you're not seeing it, but just, you know, if you look away now, if you don't want to hear what happened, but they had one of their guys, I think it was Charles Leclerc. He was going to be coming in at fifth position, you know, and get the points from that, and then they decided in their infinite wisdom that they would pit stop him about 2 laps before the end to put on the soft tyres just to try and get the fastest lap, which you get no points for. It's just, I don't know, it's pride, isn't it? Hubris, and stupidly put him out at a position where like Fernando Alonso was right behind him, and then Fernando Alonso overtook him, so they had to battle to get track position again, like, you know, on the final lap, in this stupid pursuit of getting just the kudos of getting the fastest lap of the race, which they didn't even do. This is the funniest thing about it. But anyway, you don't get any points for that. You don't get any, as far as I'm aware, you don't get any actual, you know, championship points for that. No, and it's such a stupid decision that they managed to sort of like mitigate that by getting back in front of Alonso and finished fifth. But then it turned out that while he was in the pit lane, he'd sped slightly in his pit lane, and you get a time penalty for that. So he got 5-second time penalty, which then puts him behind Alonso, so he loses some points. And it's just like, that was such an own goal. You didn't need to do any of that. You were well in front of Alonso. You could have just finished the race and got your points and said, okay, we'll chalk that one up as to that's all we could get out of this one. Go on to the next race. But no, they had to stupidly go and try and get the fastest lap, which they didn't even do. I don't know. When it comes to making like decisions on tyres and when to pit, and they just seem to like get the wrong. Even by the law of averages, you'd think that they would get it right some of the time, but they just get it wrong every time. It's crazy. I just don't understand how you couldn't flip a coin and get it wrong that many times. Oh, anyway, it's funny. Well, I find it funny because I'm, you know, I don't know, it just amuses me. You know, I don't actually want to see them do well, but they just throw things away with silly decisions. But anyway, that's enough about the Formula One. Let's see, I was just keeping an eye on the news. I was quite surprised to see that, like, with the droughts in various places, that you've kind of had the opposite thing happen with China. Like, I was talking about the Three Gorges Dam before, and about how the water levels were getting so sort of high, like say 2 and 3 years ago. Like the flooding was so high that there was, as people were concerned, is the Three Gorges Dam actually going have an issue? Is it going to crack? Is it going to, and the consequences of that. And even at the start of this year, they had the levels really high before the supposedly the wet season. And it's just gone the complete opposite way now. Now it's just they've had so many days of like dry weather that the Yangtze River is just kind of drying up. In places like Chongqing, the levels are right down. It's dry, and I think I saw a news article about this weather manipulation thing where they're going to try and fire like rockets up to disperse some dust or chemical or something to try and cloud seed, actually make clouds to make it rain and stuff, which is quite interesting. I don't know if there's certain things we maybe shouldn't mess with, but I don't know. Well, to try and stop a drought, I can see why. If it works, fair play to them. But I should have looked at the article actually. I should have kept. I'll have a look for it in a bit, see maybe if I can find it. That's the day after tomorrow. Oh, do you mean the movie, Sean? I can see you in the chat there. You mean the day after tomorrow? Are you talking about the Jake Gyllenhaal movie with the ice comes and New York, the New York gets swamped with the water? Is that what you're talking about? Day after tomorrow. What's the day after tomorrow? What was I talking about? Oh, the rocket weather thing. Is that in the movie? Oh, is it the day after tomorrow they're going to fire them? Like, I'm not talking about the rocket launch, the NASA rocket launch. I'm not sure if we're talking about the same things here or whether I'm just being dim. I'm probably just being dim. But, yeah, I'll try and find it in a minute. Sure, that's how the movie started. Oh, right, okay. Do you know, it's been so long, I haven't seen that movie in years. When, was that like 20 years ago or something? Maybe not that long, maybe 15 years ago. It's such a ridiculous premise of a movie. But it's good. In fact, I remember one bit about that movie which I really liked was they got the British very well in that, with the British helicopter pilots when it starts freezing up and the helicopter's starting to fail and the guy shouts at the helicopter itself and he was like, "Come on, you bastard!" And the way his accent and everything for an American movie, they actually got. I think they actually got the English guys pretty well. That's interesting. That's how the movie started. I'm gonna have a quick look. Google News. Let's see if I can bring the up on the screen. Or actually, if I just search topic, China rocket rain, maybe. Let's see. Cloud seeding. Yeah, that's what they call it, isn't it? How China plans to end drought with induced rainfall. 6 days ago. Okay, I only just saw a headline just about half an hour ago. Yep, little rockety things. Let's see what they do. Chemicals onto clouds so they rain earlier to try and save grain harvests. Country's driest summer since records began in 1961. Oof. See, this is the thing. Like a couple of years ago, they lost quite a lot of the rice crop with the floods. Now they're going to lose what? A lot of the grain. Is that right? There's definitely going to be high food prices coming. There's loads of stuff going on. Weird stuff as well, like intentional stuff as well, I think, with farms and stuff. But I don't want to go down the realms of conspiracy too much. Oh, do you like the shirt, by the way? Let's see. This is another shirt I've had for about 20 odd years. I can't even remember where I got this one from, but I like it. You know, it's colourful. I like it. I know I look like a complete clip in it, but you know, I'm used to looking a clip. I don't mind. That was the other thing that caught my eye, was this. The UK's biggest warship breaks down off south coast shortly after setting sail for US. Oh, the flame shirt's better? Yeah, the flame shirt is a bit more notorious, Sean, I agree. I'll have to do a stream in the flame shirt at some point. It really is like the 12-year-old shirt, and it fits me because I'm about the size of a 12-year-old. You know, I'm sure I got that for like $1. The flame shirt. I think I was in America, and I think it was like this store where it's just cheap clothes are just everywhere, because it's not like I don't even know what it was like. It wasn't a dollar only store, but it was only $1, I'm sure. Anyway, so this our biggest warship breaks down almost immediately. and it's called the Prince HMS Prince of Wales. Of course it is. Good old Prince of Wales. Um, the reason I found that funny is because I had this theory once that when our queen finally does pass away, because obviously we're getting quite old now. I was sort of joking at one point saying, because obviously Prince Charles would be, no, Prince of Wales, Prince Charles would be the king, although with his age, the shock of finally being king after waiting so long might might just do him in. That might send, he might have a heart attack, and then it'll go straight to Will. Been waiting for however many years. He's like, I'm finally king, and then it could happen. That's just my sick sense of humour. But so yeah, the Prince of Wales broken down. Of course it has. Probably trying to use green technology if it's anything like the real Prince of Wales. And no, don't get me started. Don't get me started. I'm a right jerk about the things I believe in. Let's see what else is doing. Not much really. I haven't got too much to actually talk about tonight. I was just going to come on and have a little chat and see what else was going on with the news. Oh no, I've knocked that up, haven't I? Because I've done a search on the China. It'll all just be the rockets. I'm going to switch this fan off now. Actually, I'm feeling cool enough. And one thing I've just learned about YouTube as well is that I can create those YouTube shorts. If it's in a vertical format and under 60 seconds, it automatically changes it to a YouTube short. So I might have a little play with that, try and find some little snippets from live streams or some of my old videos and make them into those. Because I'm so slow, I'm so behind the times. I'm sure they've been around for like a couple of years or something, but YouTube did it for me, because obviously some of my old videos are so old I filmed them in with a phone or whatever, like in upright format. Those stupid dance videos were upright format, and some of them were less than 60 seconds, so it just created it as a YouTube short. I didn't know what on earth it was doing. I just was like, what? But now I actually know how to make them and actually make them a YouTube short. Then I'll try and do some stuff and clip some of those things that I think might make a good YouTube short. But my daughter, she's about to turn 14. She looked at me when I was talking about it the other day with just disdain. It's like, oh, yeah, you only just working this out now, really? I'm like, yeah. Well, to her, I'm a boomer, right? That's. I'm always about 5 years behind everyone. It's like, in fact, Sean will know if he's still watching. When all the Marvel movies were coming out, like those end ones when we were working together, and a lot of you lads were all like, up to date with the Marvel movies and watching them at the cinema and stuff. I only watched about a year ago, like what was the one with the first one with Thanos, and then there's the two of them, isn't there? There's the one with Infinity War. That's it. Right. I watched that one, and then Endgame. Probably like, I don't know, 4 years after everybody else or something. I don't know. I lose. But yeah, I'm the same with everything. With phones, mobile phones, everyone was getting like the smartphones, and I was like, yeah, what's the point? I'm not bothered with that. That's probably about 5 years after everybody had one of those. I was like, oh yeah, I kind of think I needed one for some reason. I was like, and then I got one. I was like, oh, these are pretty cool, aren't they? I'm such a dumbass sometimes. I really am. But yeah, so our warship, not doing much. It's not great. China's drought. Hopefully either the weather just changes anyway, or this rocket thing they're going to try works. I don't know. Yeah, because that's not good. Anything to do with crops failing is always terrible. Because not just the local people, but the impact that'll have a global impact. Because some places as big as China, if there's shortages there, then they have to import more. There's more demand for less supply. Up goes the price of everything. And then people wonder, like, hang on, why is the price of food gone up? It's like, this is where it all starts. It all snowballs. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, parents cling to screaming kids 20 feet in the air as roller coaster breaks down mid-ride. Yeah, if that ever happens, you don't want it to be like if you're like upside down, and it happens sometimes, doesn't it? The fire brigade have to come out. Sean, you definitely think they should hold off on the rocket? Yeah, there's certain things that I just think that maybe we shouldn't interfere with. I don't know about that one, whether I'm not as bothered, because see, that goes on to how much influence you think that humans really can have over the weather in general. I mean, there's a massive debate there about the whole thing to do with global warming, which they now conveniently changed to climate change because I've got this funny image actually of all the different news articles, alarmist articles from like the 70s onwards, where they were all just completely ridiculous and wrong. You know, like the ice caps will be gone by 2010, and and then the other way, we're going to go into an ice age, and it's just opposite things, and it's just like, no, seriously, you can't even predict the weather next week that accurately. You don't know what's going on. But we could get into all sorts of scientific debates about levels of CO2 and say volcanic eruptions have more of an effect than humans, and even if you believe that we're influencing that much, it's like, okay, well then unless you get China and India on board, then anything we do isn't really making any difference. But anyway, I'll not get onto that subject too much because it's just, yeah, I think that's one of the ones that the World Economic Forum and the powers that be are pushing, and people like YouTube and the YouTube algorithm, they'll probably just eventually yeet me from YouTube if I actually dare to have a slightly different opinion to what the media want to tell you. So yeah, I don't know if we can really have too much influence over something as big as the weather when there's so many different variables, ocean currents, this, that, and the other, volcanoes, or so many things. But yeah, firing chemicals up into the air intentionally, probably not the best idea. On that thing, Sean, on that note about China and rockets, I don't know if you saw, but I was talking about it before about how they decided to blow up a satellite once. They had an old satellite that had gone out of use, and they decided to use that as target practice for like an anti-satellite rocket technology. And pretty much the rest of the world were like, please don't do that, you're going to send space shrapnel everywhere. And China's just like, yeah, we don't care. So they just did it anyway. I mean, it was a success because, you know, it still baffles me the accuracy and the kind of technology involved in that kind of feat to fire up a rocket that can get to orbit and strike such a small target as a satellite accurately. I mean, I guess people who know more to do with that kind of stuff to do with radar and physics and stuff would probably tell me maybe it's not as hard as I'm thinking it is, but it sounds pretty hard. But they did it, and they blew up the satellite, and yep, so now there'll be all sorts of space shrapnel floating around just waiting to smack into other satellites, but you know, cheers China. But at least this one seems to have a noble intent. If it's to try and stop a drought, then yeah, I can maybe give them the benefit of the doubt. But like you say, with these kind of things, sometimes disasters happen. Yeah, you're right, no one can stop them. Yeah, they'll do what they want. But sometimes these things that have good intentions end up like making things worse. Like there was a guy who, I think it was something to do with the guy who first started putting lead in petrol to do something to do with the engines. Was the same guy that he invented something else to try and solve a problem that ended up being really, really bad for the planet and for people. I forget what it was now. And I was like, how can this be the same guy, the same inventor or chemist guy? He did this one thing, tried to help people out, and it turned out to be terrible for the planet. And they were like, okay, well, we'll stop doing that. And then the same dude came up with something else. I'm sure it was the same guy. And then he was the one that was responsible for lead being put in petrol. I don't know, I'm going to have to Google that, right? Let's bring it up. Let's see if I can figure that out. I probably shouldn't. I need to do. There's more stuff I need to do tonight, and it's already late. But let's have a quick look. Man who put lead in paint. Thomas Midgley. This is it, Midgley. What else did he do? One man invented two. There we go. Yeah, I was right here. One man invented two of the deadliest substances of the 20th century. Thomas Midgley Jr. had, in words of author Bill Bryson, an instinct for the regrettable that was almost uncanny. He is single-handedly responsible for creating two of the most disruptive compounds in American history. What were they? Was one of them freons? Come on, Harry. What was it? Yeah, engine knocking. That was the added the lead, tetrathyl lead or whatever it is to gasoline to solve that problem, which ended up being really bad for everything. And what was the other one then? What was it? Refrigerators. in the 1920s were often appallingly risky because of the dangerous gases that sometimes leaked. Um, so in 1929, I'm just moving around. Do you hate that websites that move around when you're trying to read them? Oh, one of my pet hates. Yeah, I think it was something to do with trying to make the things better with refrigerators, and then ending up just doing the thing that the CFCs. Oh, was he the CFC guy? That might be it. The same guy responsible for lead in petrols was the guy who started getting CFCs everywhere. Nearly destroyed the ozone layer. This guy. And I'm sure he meant well, but like sometimes we should just leave things alone. Anyway. So yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know about cloud seeding whether that'll. I don't. I'm personally sure. I think we're pretty safe from like the day after tomorrow kind of scenario. But um, yeah, if not, then I guess we'll have to call Jake Gyllenhaal to save us, eh? Or his dad, or whoever. I don't know. It's a long time since I've seen that movie. Um, anyway, thanks for coming in and having a bit of chat to me there. That was good fun. But I am going to sign off now. I'm going to go. It's late. I've got things to do. But you'll have a great weekend. And Sean, if it's a bank holiday weekend for you, have a great one. I don't know if you're working or what. I don't know. I'm going to be working all day tomorrow. But yeah, just the way it is. But have a good and have a great week, everybody. I will catch you all on another stream. All right. See you later.